Welcome, everyone. So, what's it like to have a feng shui assessment of your home? I wanted to pop in and talk about that today, about how that looks in my practice, both in the on-site sessions that I do and the virtual sessions that I do. So, I offer both, and they do have the same outcomes, but they look different in how they are delivered. And I think it's important to lay that out. I'm actually getting ready today. Putting my stuff together to go to an on-site consultation tomorrow. I've answered this question a couple of times in one-on-one conversations this week, and so I thought, why not just do a quick video about it because there's others out there that might be curious about what this looks like. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Carrie Miller. I'm a feng shui and energy clearing practitioner. I have been working as a practitioner for more than 20 years now, and I practice a westernized version of feng shui, which is based off of the classic form school of thought on feng shui. What that means is I don't use a compass in my work, and I don't consult astrology or the stars. I am looking at the structure and the furniture placement of your home and how energy is moving through that space. And also looking at energetic patterns that I see repeating in the space that are reflecting what's going on for you energetically. I have a huge respect for all the schools of thought on feng shui. I do use some compass-based feng shui adjustments and cures in my own home, but I'm a firm believer personally that the having the forms right first is really important, and then you can layer those additional um, corrections and cures on top of that to just really amplify what you're doing with feng shui. So back to feng shui consultations. I do have notes here because I will forget something or skip something. Mom brain, menopause brain. But 95% of the time, I've had a conversation first with the client before I've come to their home. There is an option on my website for you to book directly in and fill out an intake form, and for me to come or connect with you without that step. But I think most people feel more comfortable, asking about feng shui, understanding what to expect, and knowing who they're inviting into their space, whether that be on site or virtually. I think that's really important. And it's helpful for me to know basics about your home. What size is your home? How many bedrooms is your home? How many people live there? What's going on in your space? What's working and what isn't working? What do you love about it? What do you not love about it? And even knowing some history of the home is really helpful as well. So having that information in advance just helps sets the stage for what I'll be doing when I come on site. And once I also want to understand what the goals are that you have from a feng shui consultation. Like, what do you want to shift? What do you want to change? What do you want to be different after you've implemented feng shui? What do you want to stop happening? Or what do you want to help happen by using feng shui? And then once you're booked in for a session with me, I do send you out a PDF welcome packet. And that just is something that gives you everything you need to know in one place so that you can refer back to it. It has all the information you need to book your sessions with me. It tells you how to reach me. It tells you what to expect when I come on site, what to expect from the energy clearing that I do while I'm on site. And there's some pre-work. There's an intake form that I ask for in advance, and there is a floor plan that I ask you to send me in advance. And there are some important notes about how to prepare for our session. For example, one of the most important notes that I share in that welcome packet is asking clients not to change, rearrange, even clean or organize their home before I come. Because seeing your house in the raw, the way it is all the time, not freshened up for my eyes, really truly allows me to see where energy is flowing, where it's getting stuck. There's clues in all of that in the way that your home typically is. And so there's important notes like that that are included in the welcome packet. When I'm on site, I arrive, there's introductions and we tour the space together. So I usually start at the front door and we walk through the space and we're talking about the house, talking about what's going on in your life, talking about what's working, talking about what's not working. And while we're doing that, I'm noticing things in the space that are showing me where energy is getting stuck, showing me where energy is not flowing, showing me patterns that are going on in the space that might be impacting how life is unfolding for you. And maybe those are things that we end up working on changing so that things can unfold differently for you. And by the end of that walkthrough, we've got a good idea of what the big challenges are and what the priorities are and what changes and shifts we're really going to be working through with the feng shui process. I do leave people with some action items after that on-site session. People are pretty ready to make some changes after. Usually people are like, have had an awakening during that session and they're energized and inspired to make some different changes after that session. So there is the ability for you to start making some shifts and feel like you're already making changes. I do also do an energy clearing of the space while I'm there. That's not required, but most people like that. And I'll probably actually do a separate video at some point about what an energy clearing looks like when I do it on site or virtually. So I'm not going to talk about that here. And in terms of virtual sessions, when I work with a client virtually, it's pretty much the same process. The only difference is that I ask before the virtual tour, I ask for the client to send me a video of their home, and that welcome packet explains how, what to make sure you're including in your video and how to get that to me. And I review that video in advance before we do our virtual tour, which happens via Zoom. And so we connect via a Zoom call and we do the same thing. We basically move through your space on Zoom. I'm asking you the same questions. We're talking about the same challenges. I'm noticing the same things. And then at the end of that call, you would have some action items that allow you to move forward and get started. Now, when I go home from that session, I actually follow up with a quick email talking about, what we noticed, what we saw, what the priorities were that we set, what the action items are that we decided on to start taking. And you get that usually within 24 hours of my visit. So, people are ready to start making shifts and changes. Usually, we've been able to identify some easy things that can change, and there's some recognition from the client that, oh, I can see why this has been a challenge, why this hasn't been working, and I'm ready to change that. So they're able to start doing that. I also start working on a full feng shui report for you. And so that is, probably a 12+ page report that includes the notes and the priorities and the strategies that we've talked about. But it also includes some information about that I've gathered in advance of the session, like what's going on. I usually do an aerial view of the location and look at what's going on energetically around you. What are some things that are happening in the neighborhood, in the roadways, in the neighboring structures that could be impacting you, so that I know that I can suggest some ways to soften that energy if necessary. Also send you a Bagua map, or the energy map of your home, which is that map that breaks out the areas of your floor plan that are related to the 9 different life areas. So you will get a report that tells you where your wealth corner is located, tells you where your career area is located. And there'll be some notes with that about what's going on in your space related to those areas. I will point out important things like your front door and what that's influencing, where I might see energy leaks or vulnerable energies, like maybe there's a bathroom or a utility closet or an electrical closet that falls into one of those life areas. That's important for you to know and important to note and important for some feng shui adjustments to be made to support, to make sure that the energy is not weakening you. I will note any missing areas that you have in your floor plan and some corrections that you can put in place to compensate for that. So there's quite a bit of information that's personalized to your particular space. And then I also give you some notes and resources about using other pieces of feng shui. There's a room by room checklist that you can use. That's something that you can really refer to, 3 years after the consultation. If you're feeling like things are stuck, you can go look at that room by room checklist and maybe pick a few things to implement to just kind of shift or adjust the energy. And we talk about the 5-element balance. And then sometimes there are some personalized resources that I share with you for your particular needs, your particular situation. That report typically takes me 2 to 3 weeks to complete, and then I send that to you. And almost all of my packages include follow-up support. I recommend that because I recommend that you take your time with the adjustments and the changes. I want to be there to answer your questions, to check in and make sure that the changes that we came up with and that you're making are actually working and doing what they're meant to do. And I want to be there when the energy shifts and when it feels different to you, which sometimes can be unsettling. And I want to be there to walk you through that process and help you ground and have tools to support you as the energy shifts and moves and as different outcomes come about in your life because of that new level of change that you're created. So so I'm there to help you with that in most cases, if that's what you opt in for. The last thing I'll say is that part of it is really important to me. And over the years, I've worked, I've tried a lot of different things with what I offer and with how I work with clients. And I always keep coming back to packages where I'm supporting people through the changes over time. By the end of your session, I want you to understand what in your environment has been blocking your progress or weighing you down in life, and have some strategies to shift that so that we can release that, so that you're not experiencing that anymore. I want you to know where you can personally start in your home. There's a lot of general information and ideas and tips about feng shui, but knowing where to begin and knowing what's right for your particular home and your situation, it can be hard to identify if you're not clear on feng shui and what's going on specifically in your space. I want you to understand the feng shui tools and how to use them and how to maximize your potential with them, so that you can really harmonize your space and shift the outcomes that you're getting in your life. I want you to feel supported in the process. I want you to understand how the setup of your space can be done in a way that activates energies that really support you where you need it in life. And that's a really powerful part of the feng shui process. So it's not guesswork. We're taking the guesswork out of it. That's what I'm there for, is to help you take the guesswork out of it and know what to do in your situation, in your home, for your goals, that's right for you. One of the ways that I work with feng shui is in helping you turn your home into a vision board, like a 3-dimensional vision board for the things that you want to create and manifest. And I'm really there to guide you and think through for you, for your design style, for your space and the requirements that you have. What can we add or delete from your space that will help bring it into that energy that helps you attract and manifest better? And more than anything, I want you to love and appreciate and connect with the energy of your home, so that your home is energizing you on a day-to-day basis rather than draining you or depleting you. And so with these supportive packages that I offer, I think that that's really the end goal, the end result that we're looking to create. I want you to feel empowered by your space, not like the things that are going on in your space are dooming you. There is always something that we can adjust or change or soften or redirect to make your situation better than it has been before. I love the work that I do. I love this work so much, and I'm super excited to have a consultation tomorrow, to have other ones booked in for the future. I love working with clients because it is so individualized. I could literally go into a neighborhood of cookie cutter homes, all that had the same floor plan, and and go into each one of those homes and each one of those families, and every single consultation would still be different, even though the floor plan's the same, even though the neighborhood's the same, because the energy is different, the goals are different, the people are different, the way they design things, what they like, what they want to create is completely different. So even though the floor plan's exactly the same, there might be some general things that I'm saying to every single one of those homeowners, like keep your toilet lid closed or use your front door. Like those are common things that I say all the time to everyone. But then each of these consultations is very individualized and very personalized because everybody decorates differently. Everybody wants something different. Everybody is seeking a different path in life. And so it's really fulfilling to me to come in and be able to work with people one-on-one. And I will say a lot of times I talk to clients or potential clients who they're unsure, like, do I have you come on site or do you have you come virtually? And I thought long and hard before I went into the virtual path because I even myself, I wasn't sure. Am I going to be able to see what I need to see, hear what I need to hear in order to help them shift changes? Or am I going to miss something because I'm only seeing a two-dimensional version of it on the camera and not being in the energy of it? So I do have a lot of conversations where people are like, I don't know, the virtual thing, it might not work for me. And so there are some clients that automatically prefer an on-site visit. They automatically want me to come on site, and that's perfectly fine. I'm happy to do that. There are also opportunities where virtual works fine. And what I will say in terms of the difference between the two, and having done this for many years now, even before COVID, I was working with virtual options. But having done this for many years now, I can honestly say that whether we meet in person and on site or whether we meet virtually, the outcomes for the clients are happening. The shifts and the changes and the transformation that they get from the process of implementing feng shui adjustments and cures in their home, it's the same. It doesn't matter whether I've come on site or whether I've done it virtually, we get to the same end goal. The thing that's different for me is that I receive the information differently when I'm on site versus when I'm doing it virtually. And I don't know how to explain that any differently, except that the information comes to me differently. Sometimes I ask more questions when we're virtual than I do. Sometimes I intuit more. There's a lot of information that comes to me just from looking at a picture of a room, and I can see what's blocked, what's not blocked, what's flowing, what might be harsh. And so there's a lot of information that comes through even when I'm not in the space. So I think that usually for the clients that I work with, the sessions, whether they're on-site or virtual, are very encouraging. They're very uplifting, and they're very inspiring. Usually by the time I leave or close out a call with a client, they are jazzed and ready to get started and make some changes. And they're feeling really positive about what's going on and what the potential is, even if things that have been going on up until the session have been tough and challenging. They leave or I leave that session and they are feeling empowered, like they have a plan of action and they are seeing how the changes that they will make a difference for them. So yeah, this is the work that I do and I love it. I love it so much. I'll come back on another video and do a little talk about how I do energy clearings when I'm in a home and how I do them remotely as well. I think I mean, it would be too long a video to include that in this one as well. If I can support you one-on-one with your feng shui or energy clearing needs, just reach out to me. There is information in the description below about how to connect with me. You can set up a chat with me. You can look at my website and see what the options are. I talked about how I support clients over a period of time through a 6-month package. That is typically the option that I recommend to most of my clients. If there are other needs or other requirements or other desires, there are other ways to work with me. So I have some stuff that's written on my website, but I often will create bespoke packages based on what people are looking for and what their needs are. And if I know that I can help them accomplish those needs in a different way, I will put that together and work with them that way in addition. Yeah, reach out to me if I can support you. That's all. I hope you have enjoyed listening to how I work and how feng shui can be, how a consultation can be. Thanks so much. Take care.